The CDC is warning of an accelerating mental health crisis among high school students. The new data comes as health officials warn of another spike in COVID cases. Jonathan Sari has more.
As the pandemic drags on, younger Americans could be facing a growing mental health crisis. A new survey published by the CDC finds in 2021, more than a third of high school students said their mental health suffered during the pandemic. About 44% said they feel persistently sad or hopeless. The agency attributed the high numbers to young people growing up during a time of isolation, economic turmoil, and grief. The Biden administration says it's working to address the crisis.
We've invested $5.5 billion in programs that support mental health and well-being, including tens of millions for programs that specifically address youth mental health.
Public health officials say concerns about mental health were present even before the pandemic. In December, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy issued an advisory calling for swift action to respond to the growing crisis.
We've been working already from the launch of our advisory with community partners, with parent groups, with other community organizations, including faith organizations.
The data come as medical experts warn of another COVID surge within the next few weeks. According to the CDC, the Omicron subvariant BA2 now accounts for about 55% of COVID infections in the U.S. But health experts say they do not expect another spike to be as severe as previous surges.
It certainly doesn't look like it's going to be anything on the order of what we've seen with prior spikes.
The CDC says masks, testing, and vaccinations remain the best way to protect yourself against new variants. In Atlanta, Jonathan Sari, Fox News.
Proof that age is just a number. A 64-year-old woman in Illinois is getting ready to compete in a figure skating championship against women a third of her age. Dane Placco has more on how she's inspiring others to stay active.
Cindy Kraus laces up her figure skates, performs some stretching exercises on her 64-year-old legs, then steps onto the ice at the Glacier Ice Arena in Vernon Hills, where she becomes a kid again.
This is called a broken leg spin.
5 times a week, Kraus comes here to practice with her skating coach as she prepares to compete in the U.S. Adult Figure Skating Championships in Delaware against skaters of all ages, most of them young.
So we're standing on the podium and someone will ask me, they'll take a look and be like, oh, how old are you? And then when I tell them, they're like, oh, you're my grandmother's age.
Cindy learned to skate as a kid growing up in Edison Park, but quit at 14. She didn't lace up the skates again until she was 47.
I decided that I needed something to get me out of bed in the morning, like to really motivate me. So I got a coach and she said, hey, you know, have you ever thought of competing?
Since then, Cindy's been a regular finalist at the Adult National Championships, winning once.
Tight, 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 squeeze.
Her coach, a former Olympic figure skater himself, says he's amazed that she's still getting better with age.
So Cindy doesn't want to brag on herself.
No,
but you can.
Great.
What's remarkable about what she's doing?
Many, many things. I mean, obviously her age, and to achieve what she does at the age that he is ridiculous, to be honest with you. Crikey, I competed at the highest level. I'm younger than her, and I wouldn't try half what she does.
Kraus says she has no plans to retire from competitive figure skating. In fact, she's hoping to win yet another championship with some new moves.
I've been working on my double jumps, and I have one that's fairly consistent, but I'd really like to get a few more.
Cindy turned 65 in May and is retiring from her full-time job, more time for the ice, which warms her soul.
And nothing makes you feel like a rock star like skating does. There's such a freedom to it.
In Vernon Hills, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.